written in the Times newspaper, and I want this thing to be published, please. I want it to be published tonight, immediately. I want it published on my page. I want people to understand a letter that was written in the Times of London. July 15, 1998. I repeat, the Times of London, Wednesday, July 15, 1998. Let me read it for you. It was written by a white man. You understand? Written by a white man. His name is Peter Smithers. Peter, P-E-T-E-R, as you have Peter. Smithers is S-M-I-T-H-E-R-S. He wrote it. He was writing to the British government. He's a white man. He's British. As I said before, the British people are very conscientious. An average Briton is a nice human being. An average Englishman, an average Scottish man, an average Welshman, an average Irishman, they are wonderful, beautiful people. But once you take them away from the streets of London, or Belfast, or Glasgow, or Edinburgh, the case may be, or Cardiff, and you put them in the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, dealing with colonial matters or dealing with Africa, they turn into beasts, they turn into monsters. I don't know why. Somebody wrote a letter. It's called the Nigerian Lesson. This is in the Times of London. As I repeat, Times of London, Wednesday, July 15, 1998. Somebody kindly sent it to me, and I'll read it so that the whole world may hear. This is from Sir Peter Smithers. He's a knight of the realm. The proper sir, not the sir you have in the zoo. Knight, you know. These are the proper, these are the knights of the realm of the British Empire. Now listen. Sir, I'm now reading verbatim the letter written by Sir Peter Smithers to the Times newspaper of London. Listen, sir, during the negotiations for the independence of Nigeria, the view of the Secretary of State at that time, with which I agreed, was that in Nigeria, we should attempt to put together a large and powerful state with ample material resources which will play a leading part in the affairs of the continent and of the world. This was attractive, but it involved forcing several different ethnic and cultural groups into a single political structure. The negotiations were complex and very difficult. The chief problem, as I recall or I remember, relating significantly to the control of the police and of the military. Listen carefully, please. In the retrospect of 40 years, it is clear that this was a grave mistake, which has cost many lives and will probably continue to do so. It would have been better to establish several smaller states in a free trade area. Even some British people realized after 40 years of failed experiment called Nigeria. Sir Peter Smithers, who worked in the zoo colonial desk, he is writing, we wanted to build a country that is so big that we can control, more or less. And that very big country, our problem then was who to give the police and the army to. And they gave it to Fulani. The man is now saying, with hindsight, after 40 years, many people, he wrote this thing in 1998, not 2020, 1998. This white man knew that Fulanis were using army and police to kill people in 1998. He said, after 40 years of this experiment called Zoo, Nigeria, that they created, that it is a mistake. White man is a mistake. Now, he said, we should have gone for small states. Now, this goes back to our Aburi conference. Our people should be able to reason. This was the reason why Britain said no to Aburi. Because Aburi was about confederation. Ojukwu went to Aburi, agreed confederation, came back home in Enugu, and go and launch the war. Instead of implementing that Aburi that would have allowed smaller nations to emerge, but in a free trade zone called Nigeria. Gowon said no because British told him to say no. Because Britain wanted a large country that has influence in Africa that they can control. But to achieve that control, they needed to place the military and the police in the hands of the Janjaweed, Fulani, Miyetiala. And that was what they did. And that is why we are suffering till today. This man said people are dying. Let me continue. In exculpation, it must be said that we did not then have the examples of the collapse of Yugoslavia and of Soviet Union before our eyes. In other words, the man is saying that Nigeria, the zoo you have, Nigeria to some of you, is the same thing as Yugoslavia, the same thing as Soviet Union. And it is bound to collapse. That is what this man is lamenting in 1998. He is saying, we did not have the benefit of the collapse of Soviet Union or Yugoslavia to tell us what to do in the case of the animals in the zoo, Nigeria. Are you listening? This is from a British man, a high-ranking officer. He is a sir, he's a knight of the realm, Sir Peter Smithers. I will continue. It should now be clear for all, but the willfully blind. This is how intelligent this man is saying. It is clear to everybody, to both cockroach and rat, okay, Mochicha, everybody knows it is clear, unless you're living in denial, unless you are a denier of the truth, unless you are foolish. This is from a white man, please, not me. Unless you are willfully blind to see that it is extremely dangerous to force diverse racial and social entities into a single rigid political structure such as that which is being built upon the foundation of the Maastricht Treaty. This man was saying the reason why Britain left the EU, the reason why Britain opposed, some of you don't know what is Maastricht Treaty, but I will tell you some other day. It was a treaty of European Union that Britain refused to sign. This man is saying the same mistakes of the past we are about to repeat. What is that mistake? To willfully join together. He said it is extremely dangerous. A white man is saying is that Nigeria as it exists today, Nigeria, is extremely dangerous because you are forcing diverse racial and social entities into a single rigid political structure that is unsustainable. Now, recent history, according to this man, Peter Smithers, sir, of course, he's a knight of the realm. Recent history suggests that it will be best to complete the development of the common market and to call a halt to political integration in Europe. These are the people of Brexit. They don't want Britain to be a part of one big political superstructure. The man is saying the same thing we built in Nigeria that is costing lives. And who is this man that wrote this? He said, I am, sir, your obedient servant, Sir Peter Smithers. Listen to his title. Parliamentary Private Secretary to the Minister of State and the Secretary of State in the Colonial Office from 1952 to 1959. And he lives in Vico Makote in Switzerland. Are you listening? These are people that knew that putting a country together, people of diverse social backgrounds. In Igbo land, am I the same thing with a Fulani man? The answer is no. I am related to Efik, to Ibibu. I'm related to Asian, as they call it, Upiaja. I am related to Igoromigo, the people who are there. I have relationship with Urobo. I know I can relate to Isoko culture. I can relate to Ishekiri culture. But can I relate to Fulani culture? The answer is no. Maybe even to an extent, I can relate to Yoruba culture, Yoruba culture, to an extent. But do you think I can ever relate to Fulani culture? Of course the answer is no. Because Fulani runs a feudal system, a rank-added system, where one big man stays at the top and gives you tea in the morning and asks you to go and stone somebody and you go and do it. That's what they do. Do you see the difference between an egalitarian society and one that is so structured that order will come from the emir or from the Sadiki or whoever? We are not like that. That is not democracy. And that value system was what the Fulanis brought to Asorok. These are the things that your so-called social scientists and your political analysts don't understand. What is playing out in Asorok today is the same Janjaweed feudal system, where one person stays at the top and just keeps distributing money that they did not work for, money that they didn't earn. That is what is happening in the zoo. That same thing was what they brought to the center in Asorok, and some of you are too blind to see it. When we tell you that the zoo, Nigeria, is unworkable, try to understand there is no
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, great and wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world. I greet you and I welcome you to this program. While you are joining, share this video, invite others to join. While you are joining us, share the video, invite others to join. We are going to have some challenges, maybe on Facebook with some, so we're going to be talking to a very little amount of audience today. So, but if you share the video, maybe Facebook will release, because our main feed is on suspension, and so it is very important to share the video so that others will join. I welcome you to this program. You are watching on YouTube at Judge Money Blog Africa. Share the video, invite others to join, click the like button for the algorithm to also join in the sharing. If you are watching on Twitter, let me confirm that we are live on Twitter. Yes, we are live on Twitter, but I do not know. Let me confirm if they updated our topic, because it is very, very important. We have been trying, but maybe today it is going to be updated. Let me confirm that. All right, I believe they have updated it. That's a great one. So well done, Twitter. So of course you can see that we are always, we are facing a lot of media challenges and crackdown by Facebook, by YouTube. We are facing a lot of crackdown, and then the places where we're supposed to get our more feed from, it is actually, the page is unpublished and on suspension. So we are going to be talking to a very little audience this evening, but the most important thing is that the message must be heard, and then once we are out of the message, we will actually expand the message where it is going to go to the broader audience. Of course, when we are online, they suppress messages, they suppress us to know, because they are scared of us. That is the most important thing. But once we are offline, they start releasing the message. So it is very important, as long as people are going to hear the message, and we get our drive when we are online in real time speaking to our people. Of course, you can see today is Wednesday, the 3rd of May 2023. The time now stands on 8 minutes before the top of the hour, regardless of where you are. If you are in Biafra land, it is 8 minutes before 8 o'clock in Biafra land. So wherever you are watching from, kindly share the video on Facebook, like the video for the algorithm to continue the sharing as well. We are live and direct. We are bringing you this gospel live and direct. Of course, you can see our topic here. Let me bring it back. The things we are going to be dealing with. Sorry about that. Let me just remove that, because of course they have stopped the counting of the census. They have actually postponed it. Okay, the first picture you see on the top left, it is Wike and his declaration of public holidays for the sake of the visit to of the selected president or president-select. And on the other hand, you will see Femi Adesina. on the interview that Femi Adesina granted with Channels Television, and the latest one he also granted with Rights Television. We are going to actually, one of them I'm going to read out, the other one we are going to play it. You will see the video because I am not going to last here more than an hour. We are going to make it brief, where you will see the rifle, the guns and the ammunitions. It is a place in the northern Nigeria where you building where they manufacture all these weapons for the terrorists to carry out their operations. They are called the gun runners of the terrorists. It was a place where was actually, according to the news, they say that the military invaded such place and they captured 2. So there are many things that we need to talk about it, and we compare it to the things that is happening in Biafra land. On the other hand is Malami. There is a lawsuit that has been filed against Malami. Of course, you know that Malami of recent, or ever since he assumed office as the Attorney General of Federation, he has been abusing the power of his office. He has been abusing the power of his office. So we are going to actually make sure that we are going to tackle such. We are going to tackle such. So pay attention, pay very good attention to what we are going to do. Share the video, invite others to join. Number one, I am going to start with Femi Adesina. I'm going to start with Femi Adesina because is one of the things we are going to take time on. So we are going to start immediately in order to get to somewhere. So first of all, there is an article that is coming from, I believe, Daily Trust. Yes, Daily Trust. Let me bring the article to you. Let us read it before we actually proceed, and then we bring the video interview which the AA granted to Channel Television recently. So we are going to touch on all that. We are going to touch on all of them. Share the video, invite others to join. So I'm trying to open it. Just one moment. Where is this? All right. I am going to read the reading one first before we go to the video. The reading one it is written by a Daily Trust. It's written by Daily Trust, the Zoo Media. Now let us read such interview because it is one of the interview. It is actually a live interview that was granted, which this media outlet decided, okay, it was interview I will tell you where this one is. It is from a different channel. So we are going to bring this one, then bring the video interview in comparison of what we are going to get out of this one. Now, Femi Adesina, government not responsible for job creation. Femi Adesina said that government is not responsible for job creation. That is what we are going to now talk about right now immediately. So, let me continue to read before we come back to government not responsible for job creation. Now, Femi Adesina, special advisor to President Muhammad Buhari on media and publicity, has said government is not responsible for job creation. Speaking in an interview, that's what he said, that government is not responsible for job creation. I hope you are able to see the manipulation of how the Facebook is manipulating the number. If they kick you out, bring yourself back up. Because the zoo is paying all these media houses billions upon billions to crack down on the truth that we are bringing to the world. If they kick you out, bring yourself back up, because we are going to preach this gospel. He said that government is not responsible for job creation. Femi Adesina, special advisor to President Muhammad Buhari on media publicity, has said government is not responsible for job creation. Speaking in an interview with Arise TV's, Adesina stressed that the government's job is to create an enabling environment for private sector to generate jobs. He claimed that it is not government. Just one moment. I think. He is claiming that it is not government's duty to create job, that it is government's duties to create an enabling environment. Now we are going to challenge him on that, because of course what these people they do, they go and after going they go and make a internet research, and they come and give you as if it is their own initiative. But we are going to tackle that handsomely in a way or in a manner where it is going to be understood, well understood, because their plan is always to present it by the media outlets, because they control the activities of all these media outlets. There is no freedom of speech in Nigeria, so there is no freedom of expression. That is the reason why the media will not give you the information that will help a country to thrive. The media is based on reporting what they are projected to report. So, now, if Femi Adesina said that the president is not the one that is supposed to create job, that the government is not the one that is supposed to create job in a country, now let us challenge him on that. If government is not, if it is not a duty of the government to create job in a country, that means it is not a duty of anybody to create job in a country, because I know where he is heading at. I know what he's trying to do. He is trying to escape from exactly the question that was thrown at him by the anchor of this interview. Number one, he said it is the government job to create an enabling environment for job opportunity to be created by let's continue reading. Let me find out exactly what he said there, because I don't want to actually say what he did not say. Then I will bring it up and we will talk about it more. He responded to a question about President pledge to create 3 million jobs per year when he assumed office in 2015. That was exactly what the president said to Nigeria, that he's going to create 3 million jobs per year when he assumed office in 2015. It was what he said. Now, let's continue reading. According to him, the president did not promise a specific number of jobs, but highlighted the percentage of joblessness in the country. He said that the president did not promise creating number of jobs that has been highlighted by the journalist, which is said to be he said that create 3 million jobs. Now he said that the president did not say so. That is what Adesina said. Those of you in the audience, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook, you will bear yourself witness. If you go to Google right now, you type how many jobs did President Muhammad Buhari said he is going to create during his election campaign in 2015, it will tell you, it will give you the answer. Then you will compare it with, of course, this what this guy said right now. It's going to contradict it because it is already on the public domain. But you might still get the old information. Just do that and you'll get back to me on the comment section, especially those on YouTube. Now, he said that, did you say 3 million was the promise? I wouldn't say he put a figure. That is the lies of Femi Adesina. What I recall was that the President Buhari gave the percentage of joblessness in the country. I wouldn't recall that he gave a specific figure for the number of jobs we are creating. For all you know, that may have come from anywhere. Now, he is now in denial of the statement made by Buhari during the election campaign, because whenever there is an election campaign, these people will try to say anything that will manipulate your mind, anything that will make you believe they are coming. That so many people claim that good luck was bad luck, Buhari was now good luck. So during that time, because he made all these pledges and all these promises that is going to create such job, Facebook is dealing with you. Just if they continue to kick you out of Facebook, you can go to YouTube at Judge Money Blog Africa, or you go to Twitter at Judge Money C. You go to Twitter at Judge Money C. Twitter is more real time than every other platform. So if Facebook is kicking you out, you go to Twitter or you go to YouTube at Judge Money Blog Africa. So, as we continue, he is now lying that Buhari did not make a pledge of creating up to 3 million jobs. But that was exactly what Buhari said in 2015. It is exactly what Buhari said in 2015. Now, the reason why he is lying about it, because he is being called out. And I believe that the journalists this interview was very, very exclusive. And the one I'm going to present to you in a video is also very, very exclusive. I am so surprised that those journalists were asked, they were very, very, they were questioning this guy, unlike them. Maybe it's because the administration is going out. They will not have time to prosecute those journalists. So that is exactly maybe the reason why those journalists were bold enough to do those cross-questioning to this media of Femi Adesina, led by Femi Adesina. Now, he said that president did not promise 3 million jobs. That is number one lie. He lied to the media. This interview was granted by Arise Television because all this media coverage was actually carried out even from 2015 when they were campaigning for the office. All these media outlets even granted some of this interview, but today they are in denial. Of course, media outlets will not come to be arguing with these people, these politicians, whether you said it or the way you said it or not. Of course, they will be bullied by the DSS. They will command DSS to go and deal with them, or they will command Nigeria Broadcasting Corporation to go and deal with them. So that is exactly the reason why journalists will not stretch the argument or bring the evidence. So at the end of the day, the journalists, of course, have said what Buhari said in 2015, which Femi Adesina is in denial of. That is the lies that Nigeria tell. They speak to you, they lie to you in the name of campaign, during campaign, and when they are now transition into the office, they will forget all that because it has always been a lie. It is always only a lie that a person will forget. It is a lie that when you tell, you will forget it. But when you tell the truth, even if they wake you up in the next decade, you will still remember it because it is simply the truth. That is the way it is. That is the principles of life. So you need more lies to protect a lie. So after 8 years, they have run out of option of lies in order to protect their lies. So let's continue to with what we are saying. He lied about 3 million jobs. Now he claimed also that it is not the job of the government to create jobs. If it is not the job of government to create jobs, whose job it is to create job in a nation, in a country? Listen to the media advisor to the president. He said that it is not the responsibility of the government to create job. Now he want to nourish it with the lies that look like the truth, because this is a lie of politicians. He claimed that it is the job of a government to create an enabling environment that will allow job creation. Now he did not break it down. He never broke it down when he said that. He didn't break it down. Let me read it. Of course, it is finished. He didn't break it down, but he said it is the job of the government for the job creation. If you go to the Daily Time or Daily Trust, you will see this news that I am reading. If you go there, you will see the news that I am reading. It is actually authentic news, so that you will not think that I am feeding you with something that doesn't exist. Now, he never actually analyzed the reason why he said it is not the government responsibility for job creation. Rather, it is their responsibility to create enabling environment for job opportunity. Now, let me just quote him verbatim. He said, it is the job of the government to create an enabling environment for private sector to generate jobs. This is the work of all this artificial intelligence, where he actually got this information. And if you actually it is where he got this information, because that's what they do. These people, there is nothing that is in their head or in their mind as per how a country is run. They are a bunch of people who does not even have political will, who does not even possess the education of leadership, who does not even possess the quality of leadership. These are a bunch of people who will be, placed in the office for the sake of their influence in the society. They will rig themselves, force themselves upon you as your leaders. At the end of the day, what they are going to be doing, researching the speech they are going to give you. Of course, they have made it very easy for them to use artificial intelligence that will enable them to give them some such statements that they are making publicly to you. Now, it is the job of our government to create an enabling environment for job creation. Now you ask Femi Adesina, which enabling environment has the government of Nigeria created that will enable this private sector to create job? Now, if we have to now be play a devil advocate, let us agree that it is the job of private sector to create job for a nation only if you create an enabling environment. Now, let me ask Femi Adesina, did you create an enabling environment in Nigeria? Fulani terrorists were taking over the country. If not the coming of IPOB, Fulani will ravage the whole of Nigeria. The Fulani that Nigeria government is importing across the Sahel region. And they will go and tell the international community that the people, it is a climate change that is making these people to move from places to places, because climate change, they have to feed their cattle. Now they will now start clashing with the farmers. This is the same insecurity. The same insecurity train up the abduction of those who were traveling on train in Nigeria. Insecurity. Is that an enabling environment? Boko Haram abduction every day that the government will say, will decide whether who they are going to rescue from this Boko Haram. Is that an enabling environment? Instead, harboring cattle, open grazing in the 21st century, which you claim is the reason why there is clash with the farmer herders. Is that creating an enabling environment by allowing cattle to be grazed in this 21st century all over the place in Nigeria, when the same people grazing cattle are carrying AK-47, different weapons, raping farmers, killing people? Those farmers can create job opportunities. Is that enabling environment for farmers to create such job opportunities? Now, those who are abducted are people who are supposed to create job opportunities. Some of them are affluent. They can create 1 or 2 jobs. Rather, they will use such money to bring themselves out of the shackle of this terrorist abduction. Is that an enabling environment? Now, there is no electricity in Nigeria, steady electricity in Nigeria, for people to come and create, job opportunities where they will see the mode of transportation very cheap and accessible for them. Is that an enabling environment? Because an investor will be, what attracts investors is infrastructure development. That is in general. If you want to break it down, there must be a road that is built. There will be a healthcare system that is working, that provide the needs of these people who are going to create job. In case if their workers have issues, there must be electricities which will enable these investors to cut the cost on generation and petroleum. Now on their own, providing themselves a generator and providing themselves diesel to run it. So is that an enabling environment? Now, those investors that are going to come to Nigeria where there is police brutality, is that enabling environment? Where police are intimidating everybody they see. If they slap anybody they see, without knowing whom you are. Is that an enabling environment? So, what is it that you are talking about that this government did that you are coming here being proud and saying it is not the government job to create, it's not the government responsibility to create job? Now let me remind you, it is the government responsibility to create job. So when you come to a government, this thing we talked about, enabling environment that will attract the private sector. Private sector create a business that is owned by private sector. Now what about the job and the businesses that is owned by the state? Who creates it? Is it a private sector that create business for the state? Or the government and the ministers? Are they not the ones who create job opportunities through creating a state-owned enterprise? SOE, state-owned enterprise. So whose responsibilities is to establish a state-owned enterprises? Is it the private sector? Why? What is the job of all these ministers that you people are paying billions of naira every month? What is their job? Because state-owned businesses must be introduced by the state. Maybe private sector can come and invest in the state-owned business. So there is no way a private sector can come and create a business for the state. So whose responsibility is it? Because the first business that any nation of the world is dependent on, the first job opportunities that they are actually hoping on, is the job opportunity created by the government. Job opportunities that is created by the government. Because government have to start it first. Now then create enabling environment that will attract foreign investors to come in. This enabling environment, there must be a steady electricity. There must be a good road, railway system, road infrastructure. There must be all that. Hospitals, judiciary that is working. So if these things, they have never worked in Nigeria, judiciary is being controlled by the federal government, is that an enabling environment? What is Femi Adesina trying to lie to us about? As if we are people who don't have any brain, or we are not exposed, we don't know how a nation is run. The fact that they do not know how a nation is run, that they have to go to this artificial intelligence to tell them that you just need to create an enabling environment for job creation by the private sector, without actually, doing more consultation to know exactly who creates the state-owned businesses. It is the government through the appointments that they have made. And the private sector creates private businesses. Government creates state-owned businesses. So, in this regard, and how does government create such? If it is a government that are dealing with a tender process, whereby they will award a contract to a particular country, maybe it is a government-owned company, or it is a state-owned, it is a private sector, such like Julius Berger. They can award contracts to Julius Berger to build a mall, a shopping mall, a business, or a company. That is where these people, like individuals, private sectors, might come in creating. But government must be the ones to actually come with that initiative, now award the contract to this private sector to create this business. So, when this guy called Femi Adesina come to tell you that it is not the government job to create job opportunities, You ask him, did this current administration create any enabling environment for the private sector and international investors to come in to create such job opportunities that they claim that they have handed the responsibility only to private sector? Government does not have a role to play other than creating an enabling environment. If a state want to own an airline, is it private sector that is going to bring that is going to create that opportunity? No, it is the state that will make the move. Award the contract of buying aeroplane, maybe by the private sector, maybe by the state-owned enterprise or businesses to source. So, when they create a state-owned airline, they have to, it is job opportunity because they have to employ people, cabin crews. They have to employ a pilot. They have to employ a board chairman. They have to employ members of the board. They now have to employ executives. So, in this regard, is it private sector that is going to come and create such? If the Nigeria want to introduce a railway system that is working, state that is fully owned by the state, is it a private sector that will create it? The answer is no. It is the government who will negotiate, maybe with China, because of course there is nothing they produce in Nigeria. The system of education there is rubbish, absolutely rubbish. Now it is they will maybe call China and say to China, we are going to give you oil at a very cheaper rate. We want you to build our road. We want you to build our railway. We want you to do this, build this infrastructure. Who is making the move? Is it not the government? Is it the private sector that is going to make such negotiation on behalf of the government? Is that not part of job creation? So who makes sure that there is a creation of job? I want Femi Adesina to come out from his cocoon, because he is uninformed when it comes to leadership. When it comes to running a nation, he is very, very uninformed. It is the responsibility of the president to create an enabling environment that will attract this private sector when we are now talking about private-owned business. It is the job of a president to to introduce an initiative that will create state-owned businesses. It is his job. So whose job is to create 3 million jobs? When he was bragging that he's going to create 3 million jobs, what happened to that bragging? Now they are now denying it because the administration of tyranny, administration of terrorism, administration of intimidation, administration that does not allow judiciary to thrive or the order of the judiciary to stand, administration of nepotism, administration. There is nothing good has come out of this administration. Yet this shameless man called Femi Adesina will have the audacity to come and give you a lame excuse after making inquiries from ChatGPT. He will come and tell you it is not a job of the government to create job. It is not the responsibility of the government to create job. Dude, that guy is these people are undermining you guys. They are undermining you. Maybe people in Nigeria, or maybe people of Nigeria, maybe there is something wrong with the way you approach things or the way you reason, that these people will come out to lie in your face on the things that you can actually discover the truth about. Why are they doing it? They are undermining the level of your intelligence. It is indictment to him and that is president, the mask wearer in Aso Rock. It is an indictment to them for him to say it is not the job of the government to create employment for the people. Then what is the reason why the government is there? To create an enabling environment. Let's agree with him. Where is the enabling environment created by the government that will attract people to come and invest? It is during this regime that people's businesses were destroyed in Lagos State, burnt. Is that an enabling environment? Those businesses, do they not have employees? So, is that an enabling environment? 3 million jobs. More than 33% are unemployed. More than a country is unemployed. More than a country. More than 66 million people are unemployed. Under this administration, what do you talk when you come about debt? Debt, too much. That's it. This administration went that far to the extent of borrowing from the world's poorest country, where the world poorest country take the debt from. They went there. This administration, this country called Nigeria is on a red alert list. Money laundering, terrorism, it places you, money laundering alone can place you on a gray list. Money laundering alone can place you, a country, on a gray list. Talk more of in a situation whereby money is laundered, sponsored by, money laundered, not laundered for the sponsoring of terrorism. There were people indicted in Dubai in order for those who were sponsoring terrorists. Did Nigeria come and bring them to prosecute them? The answer is no. Where are those people that were indicted in Dubai? These are the places where they say they're creating enabling environment that will attract private sectors to come and invest and create job opportunities for the people. Is it? It is very, very bad that the people that you allow in the seat position of your office are people that is not informed. What is the responsibility of theirs when assuming the highest position and the crucial position for that matter in the nation which they call their own? They don't know their responsibility. They do not know their responsibility. Now, when we tell you that this man in Aso Rock, it is not the Buhari you voted in 2015. I want to show you in the new video. I want to show you in the new video. Because when we talk about this thing, you will think it's a joke. Now, I want you to pay attention to this video that I am going to play. I'm going to grab this video from the channel's television. I don't own a copyright to this video, but I am going to grab it to play it to you. I want you to pay attention. Then you will tell me in the history of Nigeria. Okay, when we get there, we will discuss it. I want you to just pay attention so that you will pick up what I am talking about. Very, very good.
50 days from today, President Muhammadu Buhari will be wrapping up. In fact, he will be exiting, not wrapping up. By now, he's wrapping up and preparing to exit himself and his members of cabinet and members of his team on a second term, which will be made an 8-year journey in office. There has been a lot of debate on the promises made by the president during his campaign and his overall performance in office. Tonight, my guest is the media advisor to President Muhammadu Buhari, Mr. Femi Adesina. He will be shedding light on the administration's accomplishments and challenges. We will be discussing the progress made in key areas such as the economy, security, infrastructure, and corruption, as well as the challenges faced and the lessons learned. Thank you so much, Mr. Adesina. It's good to see you, and a happy Easter to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
I'd like to ask, is President Buhari already preparing to exit? Is he preparing his final exit notes?
Yes, I'm sure you know that he has set up a transition council, which has been inaugurated and which is working. So nothing best show the fact that he is ready to exit than the setting up of that transition council.
What more do we know practically that is going on as far as the preparations for President Buhari leaving office after a 2-term in office?
Well, at every opportunity he had always said it. He even still said it last week that when he finishes May 29, he will not stay in Abuja. He will not stay in Kaduna, which is near to Abuja. He will stay in Daura, which is very far away, so that people who want to come and trouble him with political issues.
Did you hear that? I hope you paid attention. Why would a president, having seen, even in Daura, I know how terrorism is ravaging people in Daura. Even the last time he went there, he was almost ambushed by the terrorists. This is the same Daura, a whole president of Nigeria, after retiring from the office, he will not stay in Abuja, where at least his DSS will be having eyes on him, where people will be having eyes on him, will be seeing him. He will not stay in Lagos, where there is better security, in Abuja, where there is better security, but he is going to retire to his village, Daura. He is going to retire to his village, Daura, where you will not see him again. Maybe one day you will hear that terrorist attack and Buhari is gone, because this mask, you want to remove it at all cost. When we tell you that somebody that is ruling over you is a mask wearer, you will believe we are bluffing. You will find how this man will, after maybe 1 year, 2 years, you will no longer hear from Buhari again. Or maybe they will keep the mask safe. Whenever they feel like they want to bring him out, they will call him and put it on for him. It is the people in Daura who knows exactly what is going on. And if he retire to Daura, he will now remove his mask. If he still want to be in the zoo, he can remove his mask and become not somebody else, be traveling the world. It doesn't matter. He can be traveling the world. So that is the reason why he is making all these statements, for you to get used to it, that he does not want to be troubled with political issues. Who even want to trouble this man that is, he doesn't have anything. He does not have political aid. He doesn't even have education on how to rule a country, on how to not even lead a country, to even rule a country. He doesn't have that education. There is nothing that is objective about this guy that is going to make any country to thrive. So who is going to go and seek for a political advice from such person? That he is running away, he does not want people to come and seek for political advice from him. What is it? Did he defeat Boko Haram? The answer is no. He did not. They just gave them, sometimes they give these people what they need. These people will be calm because they are the ones controlling these terrorists in Nigeria. They are the ones. That's why he continued to tell you climate change. When the grass is dry that side in Sahara, they will now move their cattle to come and start eating people's farmland. And he is proud to say it, a president, which causes Fulani herders farmers clash. These people are doing ethnic cleansing to communities in the north. They are doing worse than what Boko Haram is doing. Boko Haram, they are protecting the gold mine in those areas in the north. They are protecting the gold mine, mining these resources that is actually found in the north, selling it in the black market. Now, somebody is telling you that the president wants to retire to Daura because he does not want to be disturbed politically. Who in their reasonable mind want to get advice from President Buhari? From this mask wearer in Asorok, Mata Ilikuon. Who will want to get advice from him? What did his regime do for Nigeria? Tyranny, killing. If not the coming of IPOB, will this Fulani supposed to conquer the whole Nigeria? This IPOB that people are pointing at every time, they say that we are fighting struggle with the gun. We are raising gun against the government. Because these people are a group of thieves. That's what they go about, lobbying with international communities that we are fighting the struggle, picking up arms against the government. That's what they do. Likewise, like Mohammed, going about lobbying with international community, USA, to stop IPOB, saying that they are picking up arms against the government. What brought about the introduction of Eastern Security Network? Eastern Security Network. It was the invasion of Fulani terrorists, which they have baptized and gave them bandits today, that want to take over the whole of Nigeria. Then when Eastern Security Network stopped them in the east, Yoruba people now summoned courage, created a Motekun. They didn't see it like Yoruba people are carrying arms against the government, because the plan was to use terrorists to take over the whole land. We will be fighting for Biafra while our people are being killed in the bush. They thought we are so stupid. It was the introduction of Eastern Security Network that gave the Yoruba nation, the Oduduwas, the boldness to introduce Amotekun. That's why you are not hearing it from the west and from the east. You are not hearing this Fulani, they have killed 12, Fulani they killed 10, Fulani they have killed 11, and the aeroplane fly on the air, and they ended up bombing the community that they're supposed to be protecting. You will not hear it in the west and in the east. It is not as if these Fulani terrorists are not there. They are there, but they are being curbed by these securities that is not government introduced. Because these securities, they understand that these are people who devote themselves to make sure that their places are safe. Their women are not being raped. They are on their way going to the farm or the stream. They are not being killed. If Facebook kick you out, bring yourself back up. They continue to kick you out. Go to Twitter at Judge Money, see if you can't stand Facebook handling you. Because I see YouTube is also messing up. You go to Twitter, because Elon is a new, of course he is going to employ new people. So Nigeria will still be trying to negotiate. They haven't gotten there yet. Maybe later, but for now. But Facebook, they are cracking down on our messages, making sure it does not trend. It doesn't go to anybody. When you come in, they kick you out. Go to Twitter at Judge Money C. Go and watch it there. It is not shaking. No one is kicking you out there. So, it is very, very important that we continue this message. President, when he go out of office, is retiring to Daura, where terrorists he stand a risk of being killed by terrorists. In Daura, in his village, Shilish. Oh, it is laughable. It is laughable. Many of you might argue that Daura is developed. By whom? Oh, man. That is when you will know who are the handlers of the terrorists. He is not going to be a president anymore. Therefore, he will not have immunity of going with 100 convoys or the whole military that is in Nigeria. So he does not have that maximum security anymore. For him to be retiring to Daura, there is something fishy. Something is smelly somewhere. Think about it. The mask wearer, he is tired of the mask. He doesn't want anybody to be calling him to the media because he is tired of the mask. He will go about doing his. He want to go and enjoy the money that the Winners Chapel founder. Is it Winners? Chris Oyedipo. Is it Chris Oyedipo? Yes. Is it David Oyedipo? David Oyedipo, who exposed them. Even though he exposed the documents, half of it. That's why they have to rig today's election and selected his own clan, Tifubu. And at the end of selecting him, David Oyedipo now released, they used him to say that Peter Obi was saying, I did that exposition, believing that it was Peter Obi who called him and said, thank you, Daddy. Yes, Daddy. Yes, Daddy. Why is David Oyedipo not coming to refute or to say, yes, it is true? Why is he not coming? He has done the damages. They have used his name because the reason why he started reading such arrangement made by Jubril family to wear him the mask to be Nigeria president. The reason why he exposed it because it was a part of the plan that they want to use selection process to make them, they want presidency to come to the West. It is the manifestation of it you are seeing today. Because now, these are even the religious leaders who does not even want anything good for you, so that you will be calling them sir. You give them glory that belongs to God. These are people, you give them glory that belongs to God. I want those religious fanatics, when you go to yourself, look in yourself in the mirror, call yourself that you are the most stupid person in the world. Those religious fanatics, you go, you will spend 3 days in church for the week. You will go on Sunday. You go on Monday. You go on Wednesday. You go on Friday, maybe night vigil. Maybe even 4 days in church. But Chinese is going to their workshops, manufacturing things, spending hours, extra hours, learning, manufacturing. The day that if Africa want to actually transition, because now if you look at it, you will understand that the manifestation of this education system and the system of spirituality or religion is in manifestation today. Artificial intelligence is now the time of artificial intelligence. It will take your job. It will take everything that you're supposed to, what you're supposed to do in order to make ends meet. Because your education system is only theory. You need to get a job and go and be speaking English behind the computer. You will be speaking English behind the computer. If someone did not create that job, you will not get it because your education system does not teach you how to create a job. Like I said before, whenever there is, every year where there is graduation period, you will find millions of people unemployed, millions of youth. You will now find Yahoo boys. You will find armed robbers. You will find people who want to do swallow drugs to go to Indonesia. Fast lane. They will all be dying. You spend half of your life, almost half of your life, educating yourself, going to education. It is now high time that Africa need to rethink of spending half of their life going to school, is it not better when you finish your primary school, you go and look for something to do? Because you claim you go to university. After going to university, dependent on the job, on someone to employ you to work behind a computer. Today, artificial intelligence is taking such job. How are you going to do it? The doctors are, in theaters, operations are conducted by artificial intelligence. So what is basically going to be your job in the next decade? You are going to be unemployed. So is it not better when you finish primary school, obtain your O-level, then you go and look for something to do? Because now, if you think about it, the type of education we had in Biafra land, pre-colonialism, which highway have taken over this education system, because people don't know that it is education. There was a video I played to you one particular time, where a Japanese man was talking about entrepreneur and people who are employed, and how the child who was asking, I want to learn about money. I played this video for you, to you. It is exactly what we practice in Biafra land pre-colonialism. You will live what you're supposed to do. If not actually living what you're supposed to do. It is when a child maybe finish secondary school, not primary school, sorry. Finish secondary school. Not, that is the O level. Finish secondary school. When you finish your matriculation in senior secondary school, then you go and look for what to do. I didn't mean primary school. Secondary school. Secondary school. Correct me there, please. When you finish it, you go and look for something to do. You are educated enough. Because that is the reason why Chinese, they are ahead of us. Chinese. When people, you will find somebody who just finished primary school, they go into companies, manufacturing companies. They learn how to manufacture. They learn how to build these things. Maybe create the toys that your children are using, your children are crying for every day. It is a way of innovation. They will learn it, they will start doing it in their private space. From there, maybe they will get support of a government, they expand it. That is how government actually, bring all this innovation, and they promote people who are into these innovations. Now, coming back to what I talk about our education system. Back in the days in Biafra land, when you finish secondary school, if there is no money to further this, because after secondary school, that is where most of this manipulated education system comes in. In primary school, the only thing that is scrapped out of your primary education is your history. Secondary education is your history. But once you finish this secondary school, you are enlightened enough. You can communicate. Instead of going to further studying petrochemical engineering, you study biological engineering, you study many things. Some people study kinetic, kinetic bio, many people, you study different things that artificial intelligence can actually do. Now, at the end, you will be looking for a job all your life you will not get. Why don't you, if you know, because this is the time you need to be very, very selective about your course. Don't do a course because it is your hobby, it is something you love, you want to do. Because there is no education system that will enable you, that will give you an enabling environment. There is no support that can give you enabling environment to actually carry out that your dream. Except if that your dream is coming through technical education, Technical education is mostly based on practical education. Then you pursue it. If it is this thing we are studying physics and chemistry, I am a petrol engineer. I am a master class in this engineer. At the end of the day, you cannot get a job, because what is trending in the world is now what the biggest people, the people that are trending are entrepreneurs, people who are manufacturers, innovators. Those are the people who are leading the world. If you try to go and study computer engineer, ITs are losing their jobs today. In information technologies, they don't even have employment anymore. They don't. So when you look at all that, you go and waste your 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, obtain degree, bachelor. You obtain, some people even go to even to get what do you call it? Is it PhD in some of these things? At the end of the day, you don't get employment. What is the essence of that? Now let me come back to it. In Biafra land pre-colonialism, when you finish high school, if you don't have money to further your education, you know what your parents does? They look for an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur within your vicinity, within your reach. They will give you to that entrepreneur. They will tell that entrepreneur, they don't pay you. We call it apprentice. You will learn entrepreneurship on the line of the business where your master is going to be. If your master is now into importation of medication or importation of toiletries, you will learn the business, you will learn the in and out of the business, while you are not going to be getting paid by your master. Your master provide you with accommodation, your master provide you with feeding, your master now take care of you, but they will not pay you. After some certain years, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, your master will now gather money and establish that importation business for you and give you a route for the importation business. That is education. That is the part of the system of education we had that create employment, create entrepreneurs without going to do these academics that we do. At the end of the day, we are waiting dependent on somebody. Now you that serve your master, somebody will come and serve you because you will be successful as your master if you know what you are doing. It is some of the things that has been bastardized, abolished today. Why? Because such things help us to thrive. They have introduced this, the reason why some of these influencers, they put you on the highway. They put you on the highway. You will think it is the way. You go there, you will not come back. They don't influence you on something that matters, on something that is going to help you to thrive. They influence you like Bobrisky. Bobrisky is influencing your children. One day your children will grow up and wake up in the morning. Mommy, I want to be like Bobrisky. I want to be like Bobrisky. You know? Then what are you going to say to that child? No, you cannot be like Bobrisky. Mommy, I want to be like Bobrisky. He is influential. He is affluent. You know, I want to be like Bobrisky. He's affluential. He's influential. Now, have you now seen what you are introducing to your society? Without you knowing, you are embracing and glorifying such things that you might be fighting. Now, let me not be prejudiced against Bobrisky, but the fact I will state politically, because the world wants you to be politically correct. Let me be politically correct about Bobrisky. In Nigeria law, it does not permit people like Bobrisky. How come it started permitting them lately? That they are even making statements, showing you whom they are, showing you what they do. It doesn't even, no one is asking him or bringing him to question. Why? Who is, the law is now bendable for him because of his affluence and influence. When you are nobody now, go and dress like a girl. Walk on the road. Let this police catch you. They will catch you and mess you up. Now, why are they now sparing him? They are sparing him, you know why? Because there are people who promoted him, who made him affluent, who gave him the affluence rather, who made him so influential that your children will grow up tomorrow and start looking at him because he's now influencer and say, Mommy, I want to be like Bobrisky. He is rich. He is rich. What are you going to say to such child? You say, no, you cannot be like Bobrisky. Mommy, why? Now, how are you going to explain to the child that he cannot be like Bobrisky? You know how? Now, if you send them to school, because all these things now are happening in schools, they will now be asking themselves, the children, because in the school is where children get corrupt. They get information of those information that you are trying to hide away from them from home. They get it from their friends who is more exposed. Who their both parents are working there, they roam around the street the whole day. When they come back from school, they roam around the street, they're gathering information, they are seeing things. They will now teach your child. Then your child will say, they will be asking him, whose influencer do you like the most? Your child will say, I like Bobrisky. Then the one who knows will say, Bobrisky, do you want to be like Bobrisky? Then from there he say, oh, so I need to be mpiawazu before I become Bobrisky. Now from there, from there he will start looking for people when he is growing up now, because he want to be like Bobrisky. He admire him. He believe that it is where money is. It is highway. At the end of the day, now your child will start looking for people at his age, and the people who actually act like that. He will start behaving like that. He will start being attracted to people who behave like Bobrisky in order to be Bobrisky. That child is gone. Your generation might be gone. Of course, we know these things are happening in Nigeria, but they are respecting themselves. Most of them got married and have children. There is a lot of celebrities that are into these things. They got married and have children. They still do their things secretly. But now, people like Bobrisky want to make it open, that the law will get tired of it, and they will watch it coming out every day. That is the reason why somebody introduced that to him, make him influential, for your children to want to be like him. That is a digression. Coming back to what we are talking about. It is this thing in your screen. The claims of Femi Adesina that your president is going to retire to Daura. Now, what led us to what we talked about to extend the program now is the creation of job, tackling of our education system, how your religious leaders became aware of the Jubril, and they use it for their own advantage at the time they needed it the most. That's when they try to expose it in order for them to get that political office. Have you now seen what make most of your political leaders and religious leaders affluent? because they will sell you, work with politicians. Those of you who don't understand, there is a documentary I was going through, and I want you to go and watch it. Gold Mafia. Gold Mafia. It was documented. Some of them were released by Al Jazeera. Gold Mafia. These are some of the religious leaders who got involved. Their country is suffering. It involves Zimbabwe. Their country is suffering. People are running away. Economic instability. But they are smuggling the gold that they have. Instead of making use to it, they will smuggle it, sell it in black market through the pastors. Cheap. And they will embezzle the money for themselves. Watch Gold Mafia. I think episode 4 or season 4. Watch it latest. You will see what I'm talking about. All these religious leaders, they are part of your problem. If you don't know it. They are part of your problem. When you talk about them, people get angry. Go to hell if you get angry. They are your problem. The most important thing is for you to hear the truth. It is the only thing that will make you free. The same Bible tell you that. Go and read your Bible. Stop depending on somebody to read it for you. The same thing they're doing with your education system is the same thing they're doing with your religious belief. Theory. Then where is this practical of it? That's why these people who call themselves missionaries have to come to water the ground first by working on your mind before the foot soldiers come and colonize you. It's part of it. They saw the business in it. And it is continuing. That's why these atrocities was committed against you Nigerians. And you allowed it to roll 4 years, completing the 8 years. Now he's retiring to Daura. Femi Adesina is there. If you look at him saying these things, you will know that he is guilty of something. Listen to him.
Think twice before they embark on that journey. He said he wants his peace after May 29, so he will just stay in Daura, at least for the larger part of his requirements. That shows that the president is virtually done and is ready to leave.
So, how then is he? You are his mouthpiece, but basically, anything that we are hearing from you now is as though we are hearing from President Muhammadu Buhari himself. You've done this for 8 years. Give us an understanding of how the president envisioned his exit from office. Don't forget that he was one president that was ushered in so cheerfully by those of his supporters who thought that Nigeria under him will be El Dorado.
Well, your question implies that the expectations were largely unmet, but I wouldn't agree with you. He was ushered in cheerfully. He will still be ushered out.
That's what you infer. That's what you have inferred from my question.
Yes.
If I'm going to ask you, you know me, Mr. Adesina, I will ask pointedly and directly. And we will get to that point just very soon. But I'm asking, how does it, because for as human beings, there are ways and manner in which we hope and...
I just wanted you to look at the face, and you have seen the face. You have seen the face of the person who come here to lie to you. You have seen the facial expression. For you to see, he doesn't even feel confidence of what he's saying. Because he knows he's lying. He doesn't know what to answer. Your shame is shaming me. Those who still believe that something good is going to come out of Nigeria, that Nigeria is going to work. Your shame is shaming me.
We feel that things should go when we are doing some things. Exiting office is going to be another milestone in his life as a leader. And I'm asking basically because looking back 8 years ago, he had these huge expectations on him. Now leaving the office, how does he think that it will go? Ceremoniously? How does he envision it? Has he discussed that with you?
Oh yes, we keep discussing these things, and I know his mind on this. Mr. President feels he has done his level best for the country. There's nobody who does everything perfectly, but he has done his best, and he's handing over peacefully, and he will go out cheerfully.
Okay, so let me begin in looking in more details on because what I wanted to hear from the question I asked in that regard, I wanted to know. I mean, sometimes you want a white wedding, sometimes you don't want a reception, sometimes you want a quiet one, sometimes you want a loud one. I mean, I just wanted to know the manner in which he wanted that exit.
It's not in his hands. It's not in the hands of any exiting president. There are protocols for these things, and the protocols are followed. So it's not in his hands. As long as he has set up that transition council, it's not within his hands again. And they have protocols. Protocols must be followed. When President Jonathan was exiting, the protocols were followed. President Buhari came in. Now that he is also leaving, the protocols will be followed. It's not strictly in the hands of an exiting president.
That's what we want to know. The protocol. What is this protocol?
The protocol is that on May 29, you are at the Eagle Square, and there are already laid out programs which you follow, and you hand over to your successor. And after that, you begin your life in retirement. How that program is carried out is not subject to you. There is a transition council which will even largely be in charge of that program. So you can't say, I don't want this, I don't want it this way, I want it this way. No, these protocols. There are ceremonials which are not subject to being tampered with. So those ceremonials will be complied with.
So let's look at the last 8 years. What would you say, because you have looked at him closely, you have worked with him closely, and you have seen his lows and his highs. At what point would you describe as the lowest of this president in his 8-year journey?
Well, each time Mr. President hears of killings and abductions, I know how deeply those things affect him. Abduction of pupils, abduction of girls, killing, wanton killings and all that. I know how those things touch him. Those must account for some of the lowest points in his administration.
So what would you describe, if those are his lowest, what would you describe as his highest point?
No, in the life of a country, there will be many high points. Anytime he hears news of people being upright, people following integrity, people doing what he expects them to do, I know how he vibrates towards those things. He stands for pro-.
This is media advisor to the president, cannot even be objective. Media advisor to a country president. Look at what is yabbing. This is he had the news of people being upright. He is happy. He is not objective. Oh God, help Chineke nna mekwelu ndị Nigeria ebele. Look at him. Look at it. These are the people who will transition the country to compete with China, compete with good big countries. or compete with even Algeria, or compete with Egypt, or compete with South Africa? Is this country? And if you hear where they are bragging that they are senior to this country, they are senior to that country, you will think that they are bragging for something. They are bragging for nothing. There is nothing comparable with these countries that I have mentioned with Nigeria. Militarily, these countries are far, far, far. This country I mentioned in Africa, I don't want to travel to China because China is too far. Or go to Europe because Europe is too far. I'm talking about countries within Nigeria, within African continent. Algeria, China, Egypt, South Africa. Which of these countries? But Nigeria is seen as the largest economy among all these people. Largest economy. But militarily, military technology, does Nigeria have military technology as South Africa? They don't even have anything. Does Nigeria have military technology like Algeria? They don't even have anything. Do they have like Egypt? Nothing. They have nothing. Now, biggest economy. They can't fight terrorism. They can't fight terrorism. Ordinary, the ones they call bandits, they can't stop bandits if they were bandits. They can't stop them. You see what this guy is coming to say. Is it not shameful? So when people from all this country that Nigeria believe they are better than, like Algeria, Egypt, South Africa, especially South Africa, that they always say that they are big brother. They are big brother to South Africa. That's what Nigeria call themselves. They call themselves big brother to South Africa. Nonsense. You think a media publicity to the president or media advisor to the president in these countries, you will find them coming to they say when he sees somebody doing upright, he is happy. When he sees somebody, dude, these are the things that is talking about that they did, or the highs of the president. The highs of the president. Because what he was asked, the highs and lows, where the president did it good. He is telling you when he see where people are doing upright, he is happy. When he see where their people are going the other way, he is touched. He is touched. President. Nonsense. Let's continue.
Integrity and accountability. So anytime that he hears news of any of his appointees or anybody in government doing those things, I know he particularly likes it.
Is the period in which he was very sick, does the president think that that was a setback for his administration?
It should be. Because he lost how many months? He fell sick January 2017. He came back March, went again in April, and didn't come back till August, I think August 19. So about 8 months. That sickness took 8 months of his time in office. Of course, nobody would like that. But what we are glad about is that he came whole, he came sound, he came better than he went.
There is one of the critics of the president, of course, Bishop Kuka, in his Easter message. This is what he said, and he has also recognized that the presidency and President Muhammadu Buhari also recognized that he's being a very critical observer of the time of the president in office. This is what he said about the president. Let me allow you to respond to this quickly, Mr. Adesina. And so he says, as you prepare to return to Daura or Kaduna, I do not know if you feel fulfilled or that you met the tall dreams and goals you set for yourself, such as ending banditry, defeating corruption, bringing back our girls, belonging to everybody and belonging to nobody, selling off our presidential fleet and traveling with us, etc.
Yes, I think Bishop Kuka cooks very bad meals, and they are not appetizing at all. Somebody has said it's even better that he puts off his cassock and becomes a full-time politician. He's rather too partisan. If you look at those things one by one, if you can display them one again, we can take them one by one. Those things don't do credit to Father Kuka's intellectual posture. He is somebody that we had always admired for his intellectual bent, but his opinions have been colored by politics. He talked about selling presidential fleet. Was that ever promised? Was that ever promised? You know that in 2015, there were a rush of promises made that even the candidate then did not know about. So how can you start claiming that he promised that? Can he prove anywhere where the president... Okay, one by one, see, the goals you set for yourself, such as ending banditry. Now the question is, are we where we were on the issue of banditry? Are we where we were in 2015? The job is not fully done, but are we where we were? If Father Kuka is true to himself and true to his calling as a cleric, he will know that this country is not where it was in terms of banditry as at 2015. Defeating corruption. Which country ever defeats corruption? Which country ever defeats corruption?
He said, are we where we were in the issue of bandit? Was there anything like bandit in 2015? What before 2015, do you hear anything like bandit in 2015? Because Nigerians, what you hear in 2015 is terrorists, Boko Haram. These terrorists were baptized and named bandit because their master came into the office. They now brought it down so that and the whole nation called for these people they call bandit to be rebaptized and called terrorists, so that they will stop killing. This same administration and his attorney general, so, did this thing and sweep them under the carpet. This is it. That's what he is asking you. Is the bandit bad like the way it was in 2015? The bandit was the ones they used to make the position of Goodluck Jonathan ungovernable. They were the ones who introduced banditry in 2014 and 2015. They introduced Fulani terrorists, gave them guns, import them from Sahara, across Sahel. Because if you understand that Fulanis has been doing their businesses before Buhari, if you will remember, Fulanis have been rolling cattle. We didn't have problem with it until this administration, Goodluck administration, started. He promised Goodluck he will make his position ungovernable. Boko Haram now call their ancestors, even their siblings, their cousins, into Nigeria. Now they now bring Fulani terrorists, everyone. They are now carrying guns, killing people, raping women. They were there before. They were not this violent. Until Buhari gets into the power, or until Buhari start protesting against somebody that is a Biafran. They make sure they pull up anything they have at their arsenals to make sure they bring the administration of these people to sabotage it this Goodluck Jonathan. They even borrowed Obama to come and campaign for Buhari, to tell President Goodluck Jonathan that you should not. They remember how they said it. Obama said to Goodluck Jonathan that the election, he was campaigning basically for Buhari indirectly, and they followed it up. But my problem with Goodluck, he chickened out. That is my problem with him. He chickened out. That's how he lost the position. After him, those who were following, Obama have spoken. Obama, the president, the black man who become president of America, have spoken. Place your life in danger. Most of you followed that path, not knowing they are introducing terrorists into the real terrorists that will come into communities, clean the communities, kill them, take over the village. The real deal. That's why some northern Nigerians started apologizing to Goodluck Jonathan. Did you not see the video? Or is it part of my lies or exaggeration? You saw the video where they were calling, begging Goodluck to even contest for office in 2023. You saw it. After, had I know will always come last. So they have seen that it is their brother that is now working with these terrorists. They begged Goodluck Jonathan to come back. The northern women, the northern people did it. True or false? It is the truth. It is still in the public domain. So this is the same person. This guy is telling you, go and check 2015, the banditry. Who stopped banditry from expansion? It is IPOB. The ones you call banditry, terrorists that you baptized to name banditry. Who stopped their expansion towards the south? It is IPOB. And now they are diplomats all over the world. They are lobbying with international communities. That's what the diplomat of Nigeria does. Because we stop banditry, they are lobbying. They have picked up arms against the government. These people, they claim they are fighting for freedom. They have picked up arms. At least they will be saying to international community, at least they should fight this their freedom in a good without picking up arms against the government, without telling them that the creation of Eastern Security Network was to protect our land from terrorists. They name it that we pick up arms against the government. Did we pick up arms against the government, but the military, terrorists in military uniform, burning up our land, burning up the houses all over the place? Let us actually go there, because I will come back to this. Let us actually go there, because I don't have much time. I think my time is up in this place. Let me show you what happened there. Let me show you this picture where where is it? Here. You see these guns? Let me read the news that comes with it. Let me read the news it comes with. Where is it? One moment. Let me bring it to you, because I am going to bring back this to play when this program is ended. So I want to touch up on all these things that I posted there before we call it a day, because this issue of Daura and the imposter in Aso Rock, it is going to take all our time. So in order to avoid it taking all our time, let me touch on these ones, and I will allow this interview to play. Now, all right. Let's read it. It is also coming from the Daily Trust. Listen to the news. Now let us bring it to you what this government is doing. Evil government. Gun runners nabbed in Taraba. Gun runners nabbed in Taraba. Defense headquarters says troop of Operation Wellstroke have raided a weapon fabrication factory at Wukari in Taraba State and apprehended 2 suspect gun runners. Did you see what we are talking about? They go to Wukari. In Taraba State. They went there, they apprehended where those 2 suspects, where they are fabricating weapons. Where they are fabricating weapons. That is where they are actually refurbishing weapons of different kinds, supplying them to terrorists to destroy Nigeria. Now they say that this Operation Wellstroke went there and caught 2 suspects. The building there is still there in Taraba Wukari. The building was not set ablaze. But the reason why Hope Uzodinma and the military terrorists in military uniform set the market in Imo State ablaze, he claimed that there was people who were keeping guns in the market or bombs in the market. That's why they set the whole market ablaze. Now every day you will hear places, buildings in Biafra land, communities in Biafra land, which is burnt down by the Fulani army Fulani terrorists in military uniform in Biafra land, saying that they suspect that the bandits are keeping guns in these houses. They suspect that the bandits are hiding in these houses. They will destroy that house. We talked about it the last program we did. Now you have seen where they are manufacturing these weapons, dangerous weapons, machine guns, RPGs. They are manufacturing them there. These people, Operation Wellstroke, did not burn down the building. They just apprehended the people. But in Biafra land, they burned down the building. Have you now seen the difference between military operation and the terrorists in military uniform? Have you now seen their operation, how it looks? The difference between them. So if you are in Biafra land and you are not making sure you repel against these people, you are a coward. These people need to be dealt with like a terrorist that they are. The military, when they go to apprehend criminals, they don't burn down the building. They apprehend the criminals. They take them. But these terrorists, when they come to Biafra land wearing military uniform, they burn down the building. One day it will be your building. Maybe you have a way to stop this military, one way or the other. These people in military uniform, one day they will burn your building. You will start crying. If you have a way to stop these people at all cost, treat them like terrorists that they are. How can they come to a community, burn up to 10 buildings, set them ablaze, telling you that they've discovered that they're hiding guns there. They discovered that the criminals are hiding there in the night. Set people's hard-earned money that they have struggled, sweat for to build a house, you set it ablaze. Because you claim people are hiding gun. But the real fabrication where they're manufacturing weapon in the Taraba, because it's in the north. Or maybe it's not because in the north. It is the military and the real military who did the operation. They don't burn down building. the terrorist does. So it is now for you to know those burning your houses in Biafra land, they are not military, they are not police, they are not civil defense, they are terrorists, and you must treat them like terrorists. That is how I am going to put it in that regard. Now, I want to now show you this Malami. Malami, he is charged to court. Malami, for abusing of his power. These are the things IPOB will always complain about. The abusing his power. Malami, Attorney General. Malami faces, this is Vanguard. Malami faces 1 billion naira lawsuit over alleged abuse of office. Malami said get money from petrol sale. He does not remit it. I am not reading. This is another one, the letters. He sell petrol, he don't remit the money. Crude oil that is coming out from Biafra land. So they have charged him to court. This is the man that is holding Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in solitary confinement in the name that he is Malami, Attorney General, who can rule and override the decisions of court because he happened to be Attorney General. Whoever that is charging him to court is just wasting their time because he's Attorney General who override and rule over what happens to court or court decisions. Let us read it. This is Nigeria for you. A fake country. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has okayed the hearing of a suit that is accusing the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami San, of abusing his office. The suit is equally seeking an order to compel the Attorney General of Federation to pay 1 billion naira as damages to an international businessman and property developer, Mr. Cecil Osakwe, the plaintiff in the legal action he instituted through his team of lawyers, led by Mr. Victor Giwa, told the court that the Attorney General of Federation using his office arm twisted him to give out 2 units of 3-bedroom flat in one of his properties situated in Mekong Close, Metema, Abuja. In Mekong Close, I think the name of the place is Mekong Close because there is a comma there. It cannot be Mekong Close to. There is no to there. It says Mekong Close, Metema, Abuja. Metema, Abuja, to a civil servant, Mrs. Aseba Waziri. Mrs. Aseba Waziri. So he uses his office to compel people now to give up their properties. Now let's continue to read. Osakwe alleged that Malami forced him to burn the property worth about 130 million to Mrs. Waziri against subsisting order of a court of competent jurisdiction. Against, I want you to listen to it again. Let me read it properly. Osakwe alleged that Malami forced him to hand the property worth about 130 million to Mrs. Waziri against a subsisting order of a court of competent jurisdiction. The same thing Malami did against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is the same thing he is doing to maybe Osakwe. Osakwe is a Biafra, I believe. Osakwe is a Biafra because he's Igbo name. He now compelled Osakwe to give this house worth of 130 million to Waziri against the subsisting order of a court of competent jurisdiction. Because when court to issue a decision, Malami will overrule it and reissue the decision, because Malami happens to be attorney general. Attorney, not even attorney, because he is not worth being attorney general. He has no competency. He is abusive. So he actually went ahead. It is more like confiscating the house and giving it to this lady. Confiscating this house and giving it to this lady. We don't have against the order of court. Malami, against the order of court. The plaintiff told the court that the attorney waded into a civil dispute. This civil dispute, his firm had with Mrs. Waziri, and used his position to supervise his continuous harassment by security operatives, which is DSS. DSS is their agent, their willing tools, who wield gun to oppress people. Alleging that the fundamental rights were grossly violated, the plaintiff said he sued Malami both in his official and personal capacity. He maintained that the Attorney General acted with malice and abused his office by raising the charge of collecting money under false pretense. Under false pretense. This is the man who stand to challenge Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. He collects money under false pretense. Wow. At least this case is existing. Of course, you must have been familiar with the people doing things under false pretense, because it is always one of the things I used. Even one of the things I used to chase the criminals away from IPOB. So, he said the Attorney General is collecting money under false pretense against him with a view to ensuring that the property was fully handed over to Mrs. Waziri, who was also cited as a defendant in the suit. I want to explain to you what false pretense means. You know, now you will go to your friend and say to your friend, do you know I buy people cars and land in Nigeria? And you collect money from your friend, even though you don't even know who sell land or anybody that buy land in Nigeria. You collect money from that person. It is a false pretense. It's a theft under false pretense. A theft under false pretense. So that is exactly in the line of this case labeled against your Attorney General of Federation, who is holding a political activist in solitary confinement against the order of the Court of Competent Jurisdiction, the Appeal Court. The SM Malami now extended the case, claiming that he applied for stay of execution or he ordered for stay of execution, because there is a difference between application and ordering. Because the Court of Appeal made a pronouncement that this political activist called Mazen Nnamdi Kanu cannot be tried in any place in Nigeria, because Nigeria has no jurisdiction in trying him. He is technically in Kenya, so he is not in Nigeria to be tried. Now, the Attorney General decided to use his office to say, stay of execution. In the state of execution, maligning and manipulating the the legal process. Not only the legal process is actually, when they do make an amendment to a charges or to call the court time, they will not serve it to the detainee or to the legal team. Violation of human rights. The same man is now charged with a case of false pretense. Does this man deserve to be Attorney General? The same man was indicted in the illegal sale of Bonny Light crude oil, where they made how many billions? I think 42 billion. I will be sure of that figure before I pronounce it. I did the exposition as well. The same man was indicted because he left the criminals. He went to capture the whistleblower who exposed the illegal activities. The same man was recently captured that he sold crude. He refused to remit the money from oil sale in Nigeria. This same man is your Attorney General in legal system, in the judiciary. This man hold a significant position in judiciary without being questioned. He's still making decision. Now he is charged with a case of false pretense. So he pretends to be what he is not in order to malign and abuse people. So let me continue to read the activities of your Attorney General. Now, plaintiff told the court that Attorney General waited. This is plaintiff, not the guy who is the complainant. Plaintiff told the court that the Attorney General waded into a civil dispute. His firm, I think, okay, plaintiff means that it is a law firm. It is a law firm. Plaintiff told the court that the Attorney General waded into a civil dispute his firm, which is plaintiff's firm, had with Mrs. Waziri, and used his position to supervise his continuous harassment by security operatives. He used his position, Attorney General's position, to supervise the continuous harassment on this individual by the security operatives who answers to Malami. That is, I'm analyzing this, what is written here. Malami is the one supervising it. Alleging that his fundamental rights were grossly violated, the plaintiff said he sued Malami both in his official and personal capacity. He maintained that the Attorney General acted with a malice and abused his office by raising the charge of collecting money under false pretense. Under false pretense, collecting money against him with a view of ensuring that the property was fully handed over to Mrs. Waziri, who was also cited as a defendant in the suit. According to the plaintiff, Malami took the action even though he was aware that the second defendant had initially moved into the said property and stayed for over 8 months before she was vacated from it by a lawful court order that terminated the sale transaction between both parties. Are you listening? Consequently, aside from praying the court to declare that the Attorney General of Federation engaged in abuse of public office, the plaintiff urged the court to order him to pay 1 billion naira as damages. This is the man who go about jailing people who are political activists. This is him. Let me show you him. This is him. He go about jailing people who are political activists, detain them arbitrarily. Now, this is him, Nigeria Attorney General. These are the people who will come up tomorrow and say, and order judiciary what to do. The abuse of office. They use DSS. They use DSS to do their bidding, to intimidate anybody who does not agree with him, with them, or with the current administration led by impostor in Aso Rock. This impostor does not know what he has done to himself, because even when he go out of office, we are not going to stop reminding the world that he's an impostor until he remove the mask and declare the death of the original Buhari, so that the man will rest in peace, in pieces, because he initiated all this fire that is burning everybody here. Now let us I believe I will not treat the issue of this Kai Kai man in River State. Kai Kai man, when you look at him, too much of alcohol and too much of substance abuse. If I want to be politically correct, I don't want to be alleging. Too much of substance abuse made him look so old. Kai Kai man in River State. That's why he went to kill our people in Obibo. He want to declare public holiday in River State because President-elect is visiting. What a shame. The green snake in a green grass. Now you will understand what these people are doing. Those places where Biafrans, River State is Biafra land. No two ways about it. Okeno Chucha knows. River State is Biafra land. Now, these people targeted the relationship between Biafrans and Oduduwa. They dent it. They now targeted the relationship between us and some coastal region. They dent it through one Bobrisky that was from UK, who is in Nigeria now. And then now Mwike, the killer of Obibo massacre. If ICC want to do their job, Mwike need to pay for ethnic cleansing. He killed people in Obibo. Without bringing them to justice or trial. Mwike of River State. He deserves to be jailed in ICC. Now, if you want to talk about what is happening to Ekweremadu today, Britain is brutal to Ekweremadu because Ekweremadu happens to be a Biafra who is a criminal. Now, of course, there are many Fulanis who are criminals. There are many Yorubas who are criminals. There are many Hausas who are criminals. Britain will not look into their criminality. No. Britain looked at Ekweremadu because Ekweremadu is a Biafra. That is the reason why all these you political leaders from Biafra land, you people are useless. I'm telling you the honest truth. I am not insulting you. When we say somebody is useless, you will believe it's an insult. It is an adjective to qualify somebody. That is being useless. Now, you will work against your people. At the end of the day, the people that use you to work against your people will jail you. Have you now seen it? How many people are talking about Ekweremadu in Nigeria today? Ekweremadu akugi out for 10 years ago, 15 years. they have use a cop and give him the ration of 15 to 10 years imprisonment. Because he's a Kwaramad, his criminality must be dealt with. Gowon, who killed 5 million women and children, more than 3.5 million women and children, he is not seen as a criminal. He cannot be dealt with. Buhari, who carried the assignment to the soldiers, the commanders, they cannot be dealt with. They are treated with respect. This is ex-Nigerian president. They are treated with respect. They go to Europe, they open door for them because they have done the bidding that benefited the European, that has never benefited you as Nigeria. Now there is something that many people does not understand about breaking of Nigeria, because people who does not understand the disintegration of Nigeria, we are fighting to destroy the structure that is laid by colonialism. We are not fighting against anybody in Nigeria, but those who want to be the stools in the hands of this structure or in the hands of this neo-colonialist, we fight you. That's the only thing we are fighting. We are not fighting against our fellow Africa, because some of our Pan-Africans who does not understand what we are fighting. Many of you believe when we are fighting for our freedom, we are fighting our fellow blacks. I have said it over and over again because I have seen statements from some of the Pan-African activists. You should understand that we are not fighting to break Africa. If we get our sovereign nation of Biafra, we deal with our stuff, we mind our own culture, we maintain our culture, we bring back our good norms and value system, we bring our own, we introduce our own system of leadership that will enable us to compete in the global stage, because we have that talent. We have what it takes to compete in the global stage, but the only thing that is stopping it is Nigeria. Imagine a nation that owns the oil Nigeria is actually bragging about the biggest economy. They are dependent in oil sale to become biggest economy. Then free market, that is the reason why people are not biting each other, because there is free market in Nigeria. Now, this oil is coming out from Biafra land, polluting Biafra land. There is no embassy in Biafra land. There is no seaport in Biafra land. There is no international airport in Biafra land. There has never been a president from Biafra land. Okay, Goodluck Jonathan was there only because Yaradua died. They actually wanted to wear a mask to Yaradua. They wanted to cover up Yaradua's death. That is part of the reason why they killed Dora Akunyalo. That is part of the reason why they killed Dora Akunyalo. Because she exposed the plan not to give Goodluck the mandate. That's why they killed her. Now that's how Goodluck ended up being a president of Nigeria. For 4 years, they use everything in their arsenals. Terrorists, even Obama. They use Obama to remove Goodluck. But my problem, why did you chicken out Goodluck? So, in this regard, this place have never produced a president through democratic process, other than Goodluck Jonathan ruled the administration of Yaradua, the president that died in the position. That's why they do not want to announce Buhari when he died. Because they don't want anybody in the south like Osibanjo. If you know Osibanjo is somebody who has a God-fearing he has a bit of moral value. That's why they didn't want to give him the power. So they don't want such people. They want people who will promote Muslim, because Osibanjo was a Christian. Now, they hide it, they wear a mask to somebody. And that person is going to, they're going to dispose him there in Daura. That's where they're going to dump him, in Daura. That's where they claim they are dumping him. He will go and remove his mask, become a new person. Who even knows if it is the same person who is playing ball, soccer? When he remove the mask, he act his age. He will be playing soccer. Who knows? He look like the man in Asorok. Who knows if it is not him? Because you never know, the things that is happening in Nigeria, they are too dangerous. So when he now be disposed to the Daura, then he will be coming out more often. So the most important thing you need to know is that the country we are fighting for it to restore our dignity in the face of this earth. We are supposed to be like better than Japan. We have the potential. We know what it takes. But we are actually stopped by Britain because they don't want any country emerging strong economically, technologically, and otherwise in Africa. So we are not fighting to break up African relationship. We are kicking back against the neo-colonial structure that cannot enable people to thrive. We are different ethnic group who historically never gotten along with each other in the name of doing things together. In the name of doing, they will only have a business relationship, not with being with each other like this as one people. They call them one. That is the reason why they call them one. A diverse, dangerous, diverse, multicultural society. They put them together, call them one country, in order to favor Britain and to destroy people who dwell in this diverse. There is a different type of diverse countries, but Nigeria is dangerous one. That's why I played the voice of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, reading what is written in the Times of London by a knight of the realm. The reason why the man was talking about such, those are the people who have seen. He talk about whom is going to be the police and the army. If you listen to this interview, you will hear where they talk about that. They talk about in the interview with Femi Adesina, nepotism, where Femi Adesina lied and said that there is a higher, the appointment, one of the highest appointment was from Imo State. I want him to lie. Listen to it. Let me get to that part where he lied, so that we'll go back to, I will go and read it out for him, how the appointment was done in that zoo country called Nigeria, which he claimed that the highest appointment was coming from Imo State. Second highest appointment was coming from Imo State. That was what he said here. Now you will be wondering, which appointment? Is it not this Nigeria that me and you knows the history from 2015? Is it another Nigeria? Is there any other Nigeria that we need to be talking about in this regard? Is there any other Nigeria other than this one? The answer is no. There is no other Nigeria except this one. So, now let me play this video so that you will listen to
corruption. Even China, where they execute corrupt people, the fact that they keep executing shows you that corruption is not defeated. No country defeats corruption. You can curb it, you can minimize it, but he used the word defeating corruption. I think Father Kuka is rather...
You talk about China where they execute corruption. Will you compare Nigeria with China? Will you compare Nigeria to China? When you have taken Chinese loan, If execution of corruption in China is not working for them, will you go there and take loan? Hi, these people are useless. I can assure you. Will you go there to take a loan if execution of corruption is not working? You can curb them. We have seen how much you have curbed them over these 8 years that you have been in the office. You can curb them. Layman excuse. Layman excuse. These are layman they put in the position of power. That means that there is no intellectuals in Nigeria. There is no intellectuals in Nigeria. For people like Buhari, because if you look at his media publicity or media advisor to him, you will see that these are a bunch of illiterate who does not know anything about politics, about running a country. They can't even run their homes. They are running a country. That is why he is telling you China is executing, they are executing corruption. But they didn't stop corruption. Yet you are going to take money from them. If they didn't stop corruption, why is their economy so good that you are going to borrow money from them? That they are the leading figure. They are the world power now. Their currency is being proposed to be used and de-dollarized. So why is these people talking rubbish? Because no one is held to account in the stuff that is happening in Nigeria. These are evil that Nigeria do. That's why they are paying Facebook billions and billions of dollars to make sure they suppress the truth that we are going to bring, because you know that your media outlet is not going to bring it to you. The reason why they are celebrating Rufai Oseni today, because he broke to an extent, he broke this barrier of a journalist speaking out to power, speaking out politically to power, not exposing the full truth, but politically speaking out to power. If you check Rufai Oseni in the media, journalists in this Africa that we are from, you will not even find him to be I don't think, if you check the statistics in the Africa, I don't think he's going to make the 10th list. He's not. It is a journalist that exposed the gold mafia. A journalist. Do you know? It is a journalist that exposed it. But because he went to the extent that no one has ever gone except IPOB. He never even gone to the extent of IPOB, but he broke some few barriers in standing his word, asking question to power. That's why he is celebrated. He is a hero because he broke the barrier that has never been broken in Nigeria by all these journalists. Now, I hope he continues, because he needs to bring other journalists that is working for Nigeria to come to, he need to create that confidence for them. If he remains resolute in what he's doing, because I know the way it is pushing him, he will continue. They will try to stop him. I hope they don't, so that he will give birth to other journalists coming out to ask questions, just question, not to speak truth to power. Ask question to power. Very, very important. So they know that there is no media outlet that is going to challenge them. These people that is going to expose them. Even if they know the truth, they will not speak it. They will not say it. Because you depend on the media to know what is happening in the country, but not in Nigeria media. Not in Nigeria media. There is no freedom of expression, freedom of speech in Nigeria. But anyway, let's continue. These people undermine you, and it makes me feel like there is no intellect in Nigeria. For them to allow uneducated people to assume office and be in control of them. People like Wolo Soyinka, you are seeing all these things. You can't say anything. According to the statistics, you are an intellect. You are seeing these things these people are doing, lack objective. You cannot actually ask question, why is these people ruling over you that is an intellect? Oh, these are the things you need to ask yourself. Now they have given you another one because he's your brother. You appreciate it. You are fighting for it. Have you now seen the reason why it is important to divide Nigeria? So that people will go and champion their brother. Everyone champion their brothers, their things. Because if you go to any country, if you see a Yoruba man, he will say, if you see Igbo man, he say, that's your brother. He don't call it our brother. He say your brother. Because they know that there is nothing that, they know that Nigeria is not one nation. They call Igbo, Omo Igbo, your brother. But the country where you are, they call you people brothers. But inside you people, Yoruba call you your brother. They don't call you their brother. It is a language for you to know that there is no togetherness in Nigeria. So we trying to get our sovereign state. It is to maintain the peace, not to break the peace. Because if we get our sovereign state, that is where the peace is going to be there. That is where the love is going to reign. Because you are not going to stand in my way. Me and you were not going to compete in any power tussle anymore. If we come to the place of business, we do business, you pay me or I pay you, we go our ways. Now, if there is a challenges within the border, we come up together to curb it, to actually stop these challenges. That's what we will do as a nation. But we can only do that if we have our territorial integrities in order. We rule ourselves. We lead ourselves by ourselves. Because we don't believe in ourselves. This diversity, you don't believe in it. We are lying to ourselves. Just to protect what a white man has set up. Just like the fanatic Christians who are protecting the religion a white man has set up. Using it to fight their people. That is the same way some of you will be fighting Nigeria for not believing in destroying the structure a white man set up. What about you? You need to look into yourself first. Before you go and say you are fighting to destroy a structure set up by Europeans to oppress you. Religion is part of them. Christianity is part of them. They set it up to brainwash you. Why are you fighting for Jesus? Let Jesus fight for himself if he has power. So, in all these things, in doing all these things, it shows you that you yourself that claim that you want to be free, you are not yet ready. Because all this system we are fighting is the establishment of white supremacy. Establishment of neo-colonialists. We are fighting it. And everything that came with it. and we are fighting the establishment also of Arab invasion, which place you under those who believe in this Arab philosophy. Those are the things we are fighting. Islam is Arab philosophy. Islam, it is the philosophy of Arabs. They came with it when they invaded Africa, 700 and something AD. It is part of the things. It is not what we were. We need to go back to what we were. That is holistic freedom fighting. You can't be selective in the freedom fighting you are going to engage with. If you want to be selective, go and learn what freedom fighting is all about before you come and engage. It is not mostly about coming online and talking. That is the freedom fighting. It is about knowing what you are going to talk about, in case if you are presented in front of the international stage, in the global stage. If you are given a microphone in a podium to represent what you stand for, you will represent it, and they will know that no, you know what you want. Those Pan-African that is going to be there, they will know, no, this person know what they want. You can't be fighting for freedom because this freedom we are fighting for is embedded in the colonial manipulations. And you say you are you will tell yourself, no, I'm a Christian, a fanatic Christian, who does not want to, who can even fight for Jesus Christ. You can fight for Jesus, whom you said he is a God or son of God. You can fight for him instead of him fighting for himself. That is the reason why you you hear about the activities of this guy in the USA. So in all these things, you will find out that there are people who does not know Eben Milits or Mawafa. How will they know where it will stop? Our people need to wake up. Let's be holistic. We are fighting exactly what Pan-African movement is fighting. We know we are fighting exactly what they are fighting. Destroying the structure created by colonials and neo-colonialists. Establishing ourselves in order to be respected in the global stage. Because when we establish ourselves in order to be respected in the global stage, that will now enable us to extend the hands of helping other African countries. Because now we have our territorial integrity. We control what happens in our country. That's when we will now extend the love. But we cannot force us, oppress or force us to be in this space. Now you are telling me I should remain in this space because you believe that you need to unite this whole people. Which, first of all, you need to understand these people. You need to understand them. Know the type of relationship they have historically before you will be able to fight for them to be together. Because your oppressor will never do anything that will be beneficial to you. If you are preaching as a Pan-African, you have not seen a reason why Nigeria must be disintegrated. You are not truthful to yourself, I can assure you. I can assure you. You are not truthful to yourself. Go and make sure you are truthful to yourself first. The disintegration of Nigeria is disintegration of neo-colonial structure, oppressor structure, because oppressor can never create something that will be beneficial to their slaves. It is a reality. Nigeria was created a British creation. Nigeria. And you are a Pan-African, you want us to continue to answer Nigeria. But people in the USA, they understand, the meaning of people calling you nigger. The fact that you make peace with it does not mean that it is not colonial name giving. It is a care word. It is like care word. It is an insult. It is a racism. And a nation is named after this. And at the end of the day, you are telling me you are a Pan-African, yet you are promoting the innovation of a white man in Africa. You need to destroy it in order to come together. Because what we are coming together, we are not coming together to make you make a Ghana man and I am a Biafra president, or make a Moroccan man Algeria president, or make a Zimbabwean man South African president. No, we are coming together to elevate ourselves, to make sure that in the global stage we are fighting one enemy. But before we will now fight this enemy, we need to destroy every structure that is enacted by them, that has been chasing us away from our country, and we are promoting the neo-slavery by running away and going out there to get menial job, being controlled by these people. That's exactly what we are fighting. So we need to understand that. We need to be holistic. So, let's continue to listen to this guy. Media publicity of President Buhari, impostor in Aso Rock.
Disappointing in those choice of words. Then bringing back our girls. How many of those girls were taken away in 2014? And how many have been recovered? He should even praise the government for recovering a large number of those girls. Were the girls even spirited away under President Buhari? No. But the girls are Nigerians, and the president did his level best, bringing more than 100 of those girls back. And then belonging to everybody and belonging to nobody. So who does he say the president belong to now? He needs to make that clear. Selling off our presidential fleet, I addressed that earlier. Let him prove that the president made that promise.
So let's take it from one after the other. So belonging to everyone and belonging to no one statement. But there are a lot of the critics of this government that said this is one of the most nepotistic government in terms of appointment and all that Nigeria has had in recent time. How do you defend that? No need to defend what you say critics have said. Critics will always be there. And they will criticize because that's their job, there's a pastime. But what are the facts? What are the facts if you are disputing, for example, what someone like Bishop Kuka has said? So what are the facts that this government wasn't nepotistic in his appointment and in his view of allowing Nigerians to participate in the scheme of things?
The thing about critics is that they hear themselves. They hear themselves only. They don't hear alternate voices. In 2018 or 2019, we came out with a checklist of all appointments made under President Buhari nationwide. And do you know the state that had the highest? Ogun State. I think the second highest state is maybe Imo State. Katsina, where the president comes from, is in number 5 or 6. We came out with that checklist, but people like Father Kuka and other critics don't listen to others. They listen to themselves, and nothing else matters to them.
So, I mean, people will make easy reference to the appointment of those who are in the security, in some of the service chiefs.
Did you hear? Whenever he want to lie, he say maybe. He say Imo State. He said the second number of Buhari's appointment during his this thing is Imo State. He think it's Imo State. Listen to it. Let me read this thing from. Let me read it from Premium Time. Let me read it from Premium Time. Now, because I actually tried to bring it. Ogun tops Buhari's 190 political appointees. Ogun tops Buhari's appointees because he has to. Okay, let me not be sentimental. Southeast least represented, but he said that the second is Imo State. But did you hear that? Did you see that? If you go to Google it, it will show you Premium Time where it reported such. Let me read it in Premium Time. Let me read it further. Ogun State in southwest Nigeria has the highest number of political appointments made by President Muhammad Buhari since his re-election in 2019. 17 out of a total of 190 appointments, a document exclusively obtained by Premium Time has revealed. It is followed closely by Adamawa State with 14 and Kano. This is the second one. After Ogun State, it is followed by Adamawa State. Followed by Adamawa. Did you hear Imo State there? But he claimed it is Imo State. Now, then he said again, after Adamawa, which is state with 14, and the Kano State, followed by Kano. Then next is Lagos State and Oyo State with 12 appointees each. They are trailed by Katsina State, Osun State, Edo State. Now this is where you come to the east. Edo and Ondo. Did you hear? Did you see Imo State? Close to the beginning, but this man is telling you that Imo State is the second in appointment, highest appointment in Nigeria. Imo State is not in the third, they are not in the fourth, they are not in the fifth, they are not in the sixth. Now, after the let me see, let me count it before I get to Imo State. Ogun, Adamawa, Kano, Lagos, Oyo, and Katsina, Osun, Edo, and Ondo with 8 appointees, Kwara and Ekiti with 7 each, while Delta comes next with 6 appointees. State with the least appointment according to the document are Bayelsa. Bayelsa, where the oil is destroying your water. Where the oil they are exploring and making their stomach big is destroying your water. Least appointees. Listen to them. Biafra land. Then he say Bayelsa, Ebonyi, Imo. The least appointment is what this guy mentioned as the second to the highest appointment. Have you seen how these people, evil and liars they are? How misleading they are. Criminals that you employ to be in your political space as your leader. That is what they are. They indict themselves each time they speak. That's why should always go back to it. Listen to this. Imo State is the least. Plateau and Zamfara, they are the least. Now, let's go back to it for you to listen to the latest thing he's going to say. Because after that, Shegu asked him, when we talk about the appointment in the security apparatus, which is the most important thing that have to benefit Fulani and Britain oligarchy. Who is going to be the police? That's why I started with the speech that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was reading in the Times of London. In the Times of London, where it is about who is going to take care of the police. Let's listen to their interview so that you will understand what we're talking about.
The hierarchy in the security apparatus, those who head different sectors of our security in the country, different agencies, and they will say they have come from a certain region of the country. And this is one major issue that has been drawn and that have been that characterize the criticism on the nepotism that has been ascribed on this government.
Security is something you don't subject to politics. Security is you bring your best foot forward. And look at the echelon of of the heads of security agencies since 2015. Would you honestly say they have all been from one part of the country? Who was the chief of naval staff in the first term of this administration? Was it not a man from Cross River State? Who was the inspector general of police at that time? Was it not a man from Edo State, Solomon Arese? So security is something that you do based on the best and the brightest. Because all you want is for your country to be secure. The president usually says, unless you have secured a country or even an organization, you cannot efficiently manage it. So you get the best that can help you secure a country. That's the thing about security. People who begin to subject.
So according to this man and this regime that is going out, this failed regime that is going out that brought Nigeria to hands down, to a failed state, is telling you that they have to select the best people, and they claiming that so according to them, they have worked with the best security. The best security that in the East, that we have to create Eastern Security Network to protect our land from terrorist invasion. In the West, they have to create a Motekun community to protect them from the invasion of the terrorists. In the Middle Belt, the governor there is just crying. The governor there is just crying. People are dying every day. They are slicing them. He is just crying. He is just there crying because he could not create something. It is not easy to create as long as you are political. Because the politicking in Nigeria, it is gang of thieves who are involved in it. So that is the reason why in the Middle Belt they are taking over, killing finishing the ethnic groups, taking over the places. And the Middle Belt governor is coming to cry every day. I thought from the beginning, the way he was speaking boldly, he was going to do something that would tackle these security challenges. He couldn't. He was crying. Now, this is the best that they claim they have selected. Nepotistic best. They selected through nepotism. Nepotissimo. That's what they did. That's what they call the best. Have you now seen the type of country you possess in the name of Nigeria? Let me bring more people into this program in a few minutes before we call it a day. On Facebook, let's bring more people on Facebook. Before we call it a day. So, it is very, very important for people to understand. Very, very necessary for you to know that Nigeria, it is a lie. Everything they present to you is a lie. They will never present to you anything that is going to be beneficial to you or to anybody that lives in it. Some of you who are still in denial of this lying nation called Nigeria, I am pitying you, because this lying nation, of course, somebody, when we were talking, I was talking the other day, somebody said, let's go to war. It is very important for the international community to know, very important to African Union to know, very important for Pan-African movement to understand that we are going to explore every peaceful resolution that will give us our freedom. War is the last option, but if need be, we are going to war. If need be, if we explore every diplomatic move, peaceful resolution, negotiation, and we fail, we are going to go to every length to make sure we restore our dignity in the face of this planet Earth. Because enough is enough. All this manipulation, lies and deceit, people are losing their lives for the sake of lies and deceit. African Union, ECOWAS is nowhere to be found. They're keeping quiet. People are lamenting. The only thing they will start writing is when war break out, they will come and start saying ceasefire, gone silent in Africa. But when there is a call for a peaceful resolution, they ignore it. They act like they don't exist, that this thing doesn't happen. They ignore it. But one war break out, they will start advising people, ceasefire, 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 peaceful resolution. But when you engage them for a peaceful resolution, they wouldn't. Because we have proven beyond any doubt that Nigeria has never worked for those who dwell in it. People are just in denial. People are just used to suffering. Our new generation is what we don't want them to partake in, that suffering, in these pathetic rules of government that destroy lives and destroy properties. Now you see our properties, our people's properties is singled out in Lagos for demolition. Mansions are being demolished. Now you ask yourself, when these people were selling the land where they are demolishing these mansions, where was the government? The government was there. When these houses were allocated to individuals buying them, the government were there. Immediately now, when there is a selected president from the West, they start demolishing the houses belonging to Biafra. The same way they are burning it, claiming in Biafra land, claiming there are terrorists in there, claiming there are bandits in there. They're claiming there are guns and bombs in there. They are burning people's houses without any provocation. Now in the West, they are destroying people's mansions, houses. But government were there when those houses were sold. Government were there when the foundation were laid. Government were there when the blocks were laid. Government were there when the sands were delivered. Government were there when all the building materials were delivered. Government did not see that there might be a potential area. They will destroy it with no compensation. Another woman was saying that she was in the hospital only to hear that her house is being demolished. What an evil world we have dwelt upon. Tomorrow, if such people who are frustrated see anybody who will sponsor them and give them arm, you think they will not carry it against this government, against this system? Do you think? Stop fooling yourself, all these communities who are claiming they want to they want to cease fire, gun silence, this and that. Stop fooling yourselves. Be proactive to stop gun violence in Africa. Solve the problems that is bringing the gun violence before it escalates. I am going to leave it here because we have been here. If you are joining now, you go back and listen to what we have done. We are going to call it a day until we meet again. Stay safe. Stay informed. Bye for now.